We're in a brand new era. Oh, damn
After
it.
a string of technical difficulties.
It was not our week.
No,
I
it was
left.
not.
If you saw my Instagram announcement, I left my mic in the car that Austin took to work, rendering me useless, and then just spent, good 15 minutes trying to figure out why I could hear myself back
It's
to
okay. I
back.
figured it out. I do this for a living.
Katie's a genius. We're so good at this, we promise.
It's just people be changing settings on stuff that they shouldn't be changing.
But
So
otherwise, it's been a
my
great
fault.
week. Not Katie's fault, for the record.
Otherwise, it's been a great week. As Abigail stated, we are in a new era.
Taylor
Not
Swift,
us personally,
obviously. Not
but
us
also
personally.
us personally.
Personally, yes, because now we have a new addition to our personalities.
Yep, our nails are both sparkly orange right now. We're showing each other. None of you can see. One day we'll do video for this podcast. Today is not that day.
When I look like a human being while doing this, then we'll do it. But for now, I look like this. And
Yeah, that's the thing is we're always trying to cram it in at the last minute or a day late in this instance. So we
doing
never look
great.
like people.
No, we're doing great. Well, Katie looks like a person, to be so
Kinda.
fair.
I spilled coffee both on my shirt and on my pants. And I'm wearing khaki pants and a white shirt. So today's going great.
Okay, so do you want to talk Taylor Swift first, or you want to
Yeah.
talk book first? All right, that answers that question. Okay, guys, guess what? I'm sure you all know by now, because you're likely as insane as we are. Some of you are. Maybe not all of you. But we're in a new era.
We are the life of a showgirl.
We are moving on from, fountain pen to glitter gel pen,
Yes.
which we're thrilled about. At least I am. I don't know. Katie, how do you feel?
Oh, I'm thrilled. Tortured Poets came out when I was feeling very fountain pen, very melancholy. And now I feel very glitter gel pen. So I'm ready to have In Love Taylor again. Happy Taylor. What did Travis say in the podcast? 12 bangers.
12 bangers, he
Taylor?
says.
Yeah.
If he's to be believed, I guess.
I'm ready. I am fucking ready for Max Martin and Shellback, Taylor.
Dude. Okay, because I had heard rumors, because when she re-recorded Red, couldn't she not get them back?
I don't remember. You brought that up the other day, and I meant to go fact check, and I never did. But I remember hearing something about that. Maybe they were
Right.
busy at that time, and then they weren't busy now.
Yeah, I'm going to fact check that after that. But if I'm wrong, I do feel like there was something with the re-records where she couldn't get Max Martin and Shellback back.
Yeah,
So-
I think they were tied up or something. I don't quite remember
Right.
why. Or it might have been because she was recording at Electric Lady.
Yes. And it does
And
not
not in
seem
Sweden.
like... Yeah, it seems like they don't like to leave Sweden.
Yeah.
So,
Which,
which
you
fair
know,
enough. Yeah.
Fine. It seems
you want-
idyllic.
Yeah, if you want to work with us, you got to come to us. Which,
Yeah.
even if you are Taylor Swift, I imagine.
Seems
So,
reasonable. And she was already there. So,
Yeah. Worked out, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. So we found out that while she was doing the European leg of the Eras tour, she was writing and recording a new album, which, I want to have the number of hours in a day that Taylor Swift has in a day.
I do not understand. Not even, obviously I know that somebody is feeding this woman, doing her laundry, doing
Right.
all the mundane tasks that, you and I have to do as, normal human beings. But also, is she not exhausted?
Right.
When she's on tour doing shows 3 nights in a row, my God, look at us after we go to the gym 3 days in a row. And I'm not moving.
Right.
And she's doing 9 hours of performing in heels and singing. What is her caloric intake? I'm so curious on her tour routine.
Yeah, I was hoping that Travis and Jason would get more into her workout routine or eating, because they were continually talking about how athletic she is, et cetera, et cetera. And so I was hoping they were going to ask some more questions in that vein, and I'm kind of bummed that they didn't.
Right. They mentioned it very briefly when they talked about like how she just gets in the tub and soaks
Right.
after like shows, and I was like, okay. And she mentioned she got an acupuncture mat. Like, okay,
Yeah,
I can do that.
Like Travis mentioned something about like, oh, all the different like stations in the hotel room or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, tell me this. I'm so curious about like start to finish. What does that day look like? Like what time does she wake up in the morning? And does it change based on whether she had a show the night before or not?
Right.
Like I imagine if she had a show the night before, hopefully she gets to sleep in at least a little bit or like a little more recovery. I don't know.
Right, because they were talking about how she like doesn't get into bed until like 4 a.m.
Right,
which
makes sense because the show ended at what, like 11 or something, right?
Right, so she's got to like, return to her hotel room, eat.
Right.
Like, who is in charge of keeping Taylor Swift alive? I really want to see the breakdown.
Probably her mom.
Her mom.
I imagine her mom is the one who's like arranging, like who's like, here, eat a sandwich, eat a whatever. You
right.
know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, feeding her for sure.
Yeah.
I would imagine. But like the physical therapy to keep Taylor Swift functioning has got to be crazy.
Well, and I also mentioned this when we were watching the podcast the other day, but I've fallen into sort of an interesting corner of TikTok at times where it talks about celebrities that have had very subtle cosmetic work done. Mm-hmm. And there are a couple of people who have like examined like Taylor and been like, we think she's had this, but here's why it looks so natural or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this on Wednesday night. Like, it's pretty clear that she's had a little of that tox in the off season, but good kind. Like
right.
She still looks like a normal, like 34-year-old or 35-year-old woman, or however old she is,
just with perfect skin and absolutely no wrinkles to
exactly.
be found.
Yeah. So it's like I'm so curious about like that part too of like, how have we been following, or at least me, how have I been following this woman for the last 20 years and I've never once noticed when she's gotten plastic surgery?
Somebody on TikTok did point out to me that they think she got a very tasteful boob lift.
Yes, I saw that too. I think the same thing.
I can see that. A tasteful boob job.
Look, listen, as the years go on, they're not as perky anymore. Like,
no.
Like Sydney and I made you watch The Sweetest Thing.
Yes.
And that scene in the dressing room where they're like 22, 28, and like they for those who cannot see me right now and haven't seen this movie, like these women raise their arms over their head for 22 and it makes their boobs look perkier, and then 28 they put their arms back down. And
is it really for 28 the age I am now? Damn. I do be noticing.
Yeah.
I'm a little saggier.
Right. So like, if I were Taylor Swift, I too would get a tasteful boob lift. If I were Katey and had the money to get a tasteful boob lift, I would do it. I would do it tomorrow.
My fear about getting a tasteful boob lift is like I have pretty big boobs already. So like how long would it even really last? I don't know.
It's sort of like LASIK. Like, do they just go back? Do they just go back to how they were at some point? I imagine so. So maybe I would wait until I was like in my 40s or something to do that, or like if I'm going to have kids, like after I have kids.
Right. For the listeners who would not guess this about me, is I am a triple D.
Yeah.
Because I have a smaller rib cage and like fairly big boobs for my frame.
Yeah.
So it makes my life a certain kind of miserable. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I also have fairly big boobs, but mine are like proportionate to my frame, so it's not as like noticeable sometimes, I guess, maybe, because like I feel like yours are more noticeable because you have such a small frame.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's some lore for you all. I have large boobs.
For those of us who have never seen Abigail in person.
Yeah. Back to Taylor Swift, though.
Anyway.
I'm trying to think of some new highlights. Travis, he's just like me for real with his obsession with otters. That man, his head full of dust bunnies. I love that guy, but my God.
I saw like a tweet or something that was like, this whole conversation is giving I know how to ball, or you know how to ball, I know Aristotle.
Dude, literally when we were watching it, I was like, He
was
does
right.
know how to ball. He does.
She was being so sweet to him, being like, you know that word. Like, he hasn't read Hamlet, but I explained it to him.
He saw The Lion King.
Bless him.
Thing. Every time, the amount of time we spent on the New Heights episode congratulating Travis when he knew a word.
I know.
Was exceptional.
Okay, my personal highlight of the New Heights podcast was Taylor referencing Travis's old tweets, the squirrel.
Oh, yeah.
The squirrel eating a piece of bread.
It's crazy.
That felt very breaking the fourth wall, where I was like, oh my God, I forget
They
that
see
she's...
this too.
Yeah, I forget that they're on the same corners of the internet that we are.
My highlight was when she was like talking about when they first got together and everyone was like guessing about it and they were like, what are they even going to talk about? And she goes, which fair? And I'm like, what do they talk about?
Sourdough, apparently.
Sourdough, otters.
Doing impressions of the cats. That was pretty funny.
That was cute.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that, we were making fun, or at least I was making fun of her for going on her boyfriend's podcast to announce her new album. It feels a little like crazy, and I have not read a lot of the discourse yet. Because I do find it very interesting that, obviously this is the most revealing interview we've ever had from her, probably, and
Ever.
certainly
Ever.
yeah.
Easily. Easily.
Yeah.
It's the longest we've seen her talk, not unedited, but in a casual environment. Because, she's been on Barbara Walters and things like that. But, obviously those are more serious. This is the most, personality I feel like we've ever seen from her. And we have never seen her interact and speak with a partner before.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
Other than, paparazzi or, cell phone video.
Yeah. It was very jarring to see her act like a normal person.
Yeah.
It was weird. And I do really want to dive into the discourse of this is more the New York Times, I think, has an article about she's controlling her narrative here.
Exactly. That's what I was just about to say. And this is what I tell people all the time that we reach out to for interviews for my full-time job. We do a lot of sensitive reporting around true crime and things like that, and people are often hesitant to speak to us for obvious reasons, asking people to unpack their trauma and talk about the worst day or days of their lives is a big ask. But whenever they're hesitant, I say this not necessarily to convince them, because I'm not here to convince them, but to make them think about it. This is different than maybe talking to a newspaper or a magazine or whatever, because there is literally no way your words can get misconstrued or twisted really in this scenario, because it's literally your voice and you speaking. Obviously we cut things down and edit, but it's a lot harder to accidentally miss a meaning when it's someone's actual voice than in writing.
Right. And obviously Taylor has some influence over intern Brandon if something did happen that she didn't want in there or whatever. This is not a piece of journalism, her being on her boyfriend's podcast. Make no mistake, even if Jason Kelsey is asking her questions, this isn't really journalism. No,
but the Kelsey brothers are genuinely, other than them both having interrupting problems, which, same. Maybe they both are a little neurospicy, and that's why. No impulse control.
Yeah.
Jason is genuinely a good interviewer. Obviously in this episode he gives sort of softball questions because this is a person who knows really well. He knows really well. But I also have listened to episodes where they have Arnold Schwarzenegger and people like that on, where they're not asking hard-hitting questions necessarily, but they're good at getting these people talking in a casual environment. It's sort of how I feel about Alex Cooper, right? Is she the world's best journalistic hard-hitting interviewer? No. But she knows what to ask of people, and she knows how to relate to people and how to get them kind of to a place that maybe other people wouldn't. And I think that's a special skill. And I genuinely think that Jason, mostly Travis, is kind of there for comedic relief. I genuinely think they can prompt good conversation, and because they're not journalists, they sometimes ask questions that we wouldn't necessarily think of that might seem silly or dumb or whatever.
Sure, yeah. And I have not ever listened to another episode of New Heights, so like I'm an uninformed listener here in this. I'm one of millions who tuned in for this episode just for Taylor Swift.
I'm a casual 92%er, not a regular listener, but I'll listen when someone's on that I like, and I will listen during football season because it does at times help me with my fantasy team.
See, I'm not in a fantasy league, so...
Did I tell you that Nicole and I are co-coaching my team together this year?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
I'm rooting for you guys.
The girlies, we're going to hold it down. I have such faith in us.
Do you have a team name yet?
Well, it carries over still.
Oh, okay. Okay, never mind then. What is your team name? I forgot.
The Mars Rovers, because the entire league it's called the Republic of Texas Football League, and all of the team names have to be based on a city in Texas. So I made a pun. There's a city named Mars, or a town named Mars, so I made a pun. Quigley is the Crawford Strategeries, which is pretty funny because that's where W is from.
Nice.
So Strategeries, pretty funny.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
John Bridges is the Salado Lost Codgers because of the song, the fastball song "The Way," about that couple that drove off and like they got missing. They went missing.
Got missing. You guys don't care about this.
I don't know. Google that. Okay, but actually Google that story though because it is really interesting.
Oh, okay. I'll go on a Wikipedia rabbit hole about that later.
That's an interesting one.
But, okay, the era itself that we are now entering of the Life of a Showgirl with 12 tracks that she was talking about on New Heights. These are the 12, she says. This is it.
Okay, but I keep Reddit keeps being like, she said these are the 12 on this album. There's not going to be like a 3 a.m. thing. And I'm like, bitch, there is going to be a 3 a.m. Like, obviously there's going to, because the last 2 albums you've done this, like, you're going to have to give the people something. It might not be new music. Maybe it's a music video or something. But, like, you can't set a precedent for doing that and then just be like, here are 12.
I obviously will take anything that she gives me, but as I've said on this podcast and many times since, and I also know she agrees based on what she was saying on New Heights, was like, Tortured Poets needed an editor so badly.
Completely. And I completely agree, and I will be happy with our 12, but I think the fans... I'm not speaking about me personally here.
Right.
I'm like, you can't feed a mob. Like, you can't train us all to stay up until 3 a.m. and then not give us anything, you know?
I know. And I do, like, I want us to just be happy. Like, I want her to be able to put it out a tight 12 and not feel like she has to force it. So I don't know, like, what I would want it to be instead. I mean, to be fair, also... all of my favorite songs, well, not all of mine. I love Midnights. Midnights is one of my top 3 albums. But my favorite song is a bonus track.
My 2 favorites are bonus tracks, yeah.
Which hits different.
Yeah, and You're Losing Me.
Oh, well, those are even later bonus tracks. So that's fair. And then all of Tortured Poets, most of the songs I liked more are on the anthology. But that's just my sensibility of, I'm more... I think an Aaron Dessner than Jack.
I saw a theory that the anthology contains a lot of songs that she was writing like when she was still with Ratty. And so those were like what she was like actually working on. But then everything that ended up on the proper album was the stuff that came out of her like cathartically, like she said, that it happened.
Obviously, I'm thrilled it exists. I think there are a lot of great songs on there. And I think we did the exercise where I was on the podcast when we talked about it, where it was
which
like,
ones
what
we
would
strike.
cut?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I came down to, I think, like 16 songs. And I was like, this is tight.
Right.
And like, I'm not a music expert, you know, but like, I am an editor. So they do pay me to do this sometimes.
Right.
And some of the things that really bugged me about Tortured Poets at points were like repetition of phrases and things like that, where I was like, no,
and
Taylor,
sounds, sonically,
and
too.
sounds. Yeah. And so, which she described as like a data dump of like, here is everything. I'm going to put it all out, which is like totally fair. And obviously her right as an artist. And like, I'm not complaining.
Right.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah,
But
I think that's a dangerous habit to get into.
Yes. And I'm really curious to see what she does with a tight 12.
Right.
And where she was like, every song on here has a purpose. You could not add one or take it away without changing the entire album. So I'm excited for that vision. I'm also excited for what seems to be very much like a concept album.
Yeah.
Some of the like rhetoric that I've seen is a little bit like, it seems like we might be getting more into her experiences and less of some of the esoteric stuff of like, you know, the lore more. And Midnight's, I think, was more centered on her. And then, of course, you know, Tortured Poets was, and as she said, like, she focused really lyrically on it. This is like
the whole package.
Her tight 12.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for it in that I'm excited to see a tight 12 from her. I'm also just generally excited for this, like, what seems to be kind of a melancholy glitter era. Maybe not melancholy. I don't know. I guess like
the
Life
song
of a
titles
Showgirl.
Give melancholy.
Yeah,
and
like
also the
Ophelia.
photography kind of does too. Yeah, you're saying this is glitter gel pen, but we're starting with the fate of Ophelia. Like,
yeah, like she
girl.
died. She's dead. Tragically.
Yeah,
sorta.
and like the cover art is a nod to Ophelia.
Yeah. So I'm yeah, I guess like it's funny to hear Travis talk about it where he's like 12 bangers.
Yeah.
And then we're like melancholy life of a showgirl. I am so sad, but I must go perform. I can do it with a broken heart.
Yeah.
Which is being a woman.
That's what I'm kind of wondering, like, does this lean I can do it with a broken heart where it's I'm doing my best, I'm having a great time. This is such a fun time of my life, but there's like the little duck feet paddling under the surface kind of vibe? Or is it just like full 1989 blank space, you know, we're never getting back together, 22 Max Martin Shellback vibes? Or are we somewhere in between?
I think it's going to be somewhere in between because she's talking about like what she went through backstage during the entire Eras tour.
Yeah.
And so like, we went to one of the Texas shows. Girlie was not doing well.
Yeah, but then she also said, like, this is about one of the most fun and joyful times of my life.
It can be both.
Yeah.
That's why I think, and also, like, when she was falling in love with Travis, like, you know, it can be both of, like, she was going through some pretty shitty stuff of the Joe breakup and then Ratty Healy and then Travis.
Well, and just all of the discourse that she normally deals with and buying back her masters and the whole fucking thing. Even though that happened after, but still it's all kind of close enough together. Well, and I think one reason, like, as I kind of said at the beginning, I'm super excited about this because just sort of the way that she's talking about it, it sort of almost feels like the year that I've had of, like, shit was really, really bad, and now I'm, like, doing awesome. I'm chilling. I have a boyfriend. You heard it here first. Dropping that on the pod. And so in a way, I'm like almost a little hopeful that her journey sort of mirrors mine because it almost kind of seems like it does. So I'll be interested to see because Tortured Poets came out at a time I really needed it, and if this album feels anything like the way I feel now, it is going to be like melancholy bangers, right? Of like, my life is entirely different, but I'm doing great.
Yeah.
So,
are we going to talk about this book or are we only going to talk about Taylor Swift?
I was just about to ask you, we've reached the point where we're going to have to decide if this is a bonus episode about the life of a showgirl.
Okay. We're going to keep talking about Life of a Showgirl.
Okay. So we talked about some of the songs, the song titles. Well, we talked about one of the song titles, which is really interesting. So we talked about The Fate of Ophelia, which is really interesting. The second track is called Elizabeth Taylor.
Burton to this Taylor.
I know. So I'm wondering how one-to-one that's like how referential it's going to be.
I don't know enough about Elizabeth Taylor to think of other than a very glamorous, famous woman. Also,
with a lot of, I mean, didn't her and Richard Burton get married and then divorced and then married again, I'm pretty sure. Like,
Hold on.
she had a fraught life.
I am looking up Elizabeth Taylor right now, who died in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
My God, obviously gorgeous. Okay, she had a lot of spouses.
Yeah.
She had 7 husbands.
Well, because I did an Elizabeth Taylor deep dive after I read this the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because there was some speculation around that.
She was married to Richard Burton twice.
Yeah.
So Burton to this Taylor's maybe not always a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. But there is this very romanticized kind of thing of, like, they're soulmates. They couldn't stay apart. Like, people kind of idealize them as, like, as soulmates, essentially, which is not always great. I also did, like, a deep dive on Reddit the other day on people who remarried their spouses, like, divorced them and then remarried them. I don't know what made me think about that.
Yeah, listeners, don't read into that.
Yeah. Oh no. No. It was yesterday after I sent you that jewelry, and I was like, oh, if I ever get engaged again, and then I went down like a second marriage thought process and ended up there. Yeah, I will not be remarrying my previous spouse. He is saved as like 15 middle finger emojis in my phone instead of a name. So.
Oop. I'm doing this emoji.
Oop.
Oop.
Oop. Okay, so Elizabeth Taylor, that should be interesting. Third figure is called Opalite, which I did not fact check this, but the girlies say is Travis's birthstone.
That's what I was guessing. That was a word he knew, as he told us.
Right.
On New Heights.
Because his birthday's in October.
Yeah.
Hang on. October birthstone. Opal. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Bummer, I guess.
That's a Travis song. Father figure. Really, I don't have any guesses for what that could be. It could also be about Travis and wanting to have kids with him, potentially.
Yeah, or even another Scott Borchetta takedown.
Could be.
Could hopefully not about her actual dad, maybe.
Yeah.
It would be a weird inclusion on this album to talk about her dad.
Yes.
These pictures are sexy.
Yeah.
Like, this is hot Taylor. She's naked.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, my instinct is that it might be maybe it'll be a "but daddy, I love him" kind of tongue-in-cheek thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Track
Maybe.
5. Boop, 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 boop. Eldest daughter, which I am concerned about.
I am an eldest daughter.
Same.
Katey, you technically are because you're an only daughter.
Yeah, well, I have a half brother, so
that's true.
I'm only on one side and eldest on the other, but I am the eldest of all of my cousins on all sides of my family.
Yeah, I am eldest in all cases.
Same.
So, all right. R.I.P. me and my mental health, probably.
Yep, I suspect this one might be the burden of growing up, of being responsible. You're on your own kid core. She was also talking on the podcast about how both of her parents underwent like medical stuff over the last year, so it's possible that could be tied into this in some capacity of like, okay, I got to step up and, be the eldest daughter kind of vibe. I don't know, but it'll hurt regardless. I know it.
It'll hurt. I won't be ready.
Yep.
We're just saying that right now.
Yep. Ruin the friendship. This could go a number of ways. There's some speculation on Reddit that it's about Blake Lively.
Ooh.
I was reading it as ruin the friendship, like
Travis, but they weren't really friends.
Yeah, I'm reading it romantically, but I don't know who it would be about if it's romantic. I was reading it like, oh, we're just friends and now we're going to be more kind of vibes. But if it's about Travis, that wouldn't really fit. But that's how I interpret that title. I was not thinking Blake Lively, but could be.
Could be.
It could be very, I'm asking to be excluded from this narrative, one that I never wish to be a part of.
Yeah, that one I do certainly feel for her in this whole Justin. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Who cares? This is a mess.
And
I'm
it
tired of
genuinely has nothing
Blake.
to do with her other than she is maybe a friend who gave another friend advice.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. And that's a
Like-
big asterisk. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I loved the note that Tree put out where it was like, she didn't even see the movie for months. And I
Right.
was like, oh, this bitch is mad. So
I love the stuff that came out where it was like Justin Baldoni's people are afraid of Taylor and
I
like
mean,
the
they should be.
Swifties. And I'm like, you fucking should be. She
Yeah,
literally told you who's afraid of little old me. You should be.
you all should be.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
afraid
okay.
of Taylor. I fear her.
Our friend Brian has had an actual experience with Tree Paine, and I am terrified of her.
Yep.
So,
List of
You
people
know-
I would not fuck with. You know, we say about our friend that we would not argue with her even if we were right. Tree Paine, another
is-
person I would not argue with.
even if I was right.
Yeah. If she were a flat earther, I would be like, you know what, bestie? Maybe.
I'm not going to talk to you about this,
Yeah.
don't worry.
Maybe you're right. I don't know. You're now
I
making me
don't-
question my reality.
All right, what do we have next?
Actually romantic. So that feels perhaps like a So High School kind of vibe. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I would think so.
A
That
So
one
High
seems pretty
School, the
separate.
alchemy. We're falling in love. I finally get what romance is for the first time.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I feel like when in the podcast the other day, my actual favorite, like genuine, not goofy favorite moment of the podcast was when she was talking about, like, when he asked her out and did like the grand gesture, and she compared it to John Cusack with the stereo over his head, and she was like, "That's pretty much what I've been asking people to do for me in songs my entire life." And that was the point that I was like, I'm gonna pass away right now. So that's my earnest actual favorite moment. And so seeing the song title Actually Romantic makes me think that it's that kind of energy of like, you're actually romantic, unlike all these other jabronis.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like a lot of her relationship with Joe is actually like romantic.
No.
It was just like, it was comfortable. It was safe. It
Right.
was friendly.
Yeah.
And turns out
It's giving
maybe she wants
friends.
it's giving friends. Okay, what do we got next?
Wish list stylized with dollar signs in the S's.
Ooh, okay. I have no guesses about this.
I
but
got
it's-
nothing. Maybe this is a
Bessie's
sexy
got-
one.
Maybe, but Bessie's got all the money in the world, so I don't know what's left on her. Maybe this is her "Mom, I Am a Rich Man" song.
Yeah. Oh, her 7 rings?
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe.
I maybe.
If it
Maybe.
is her 7 rings, she better reference all that Cartier that she's been wearing lately.
I know.
It's gorgeous.
Jeez.
That little knot necklace, I yearn
I
for
know.
it. I yearn for it. And her
Somebody make
watch,
us
the watch she wore on the
millionaires.
podcast is gorgeous.
We are not. Yeah. We're
Someone
not
find
wealthy.
me a dupe of that Cartier watch that's less than $50, please and thank you.
less than $50.
Yeah, a dupe.
Okay,
I don't care if
all
it's
right.
from Amazon. I want a nice little watch. The next one is called Wood, WOOD. I got nothing.
What anniversary is that? It's like it's the 5th one because in Gone Girl it's their 5th
yeah.
anniversary.
Yeah, it's the 5th one. You're right. That's interesting. What was 5 years? The pandemic.
I'm just throwing out guesses. Unless it's about something more sexual.
Yeah, that was my first thought. Was a boner.
A big dick joke.
Yep. Then we've got canceled, stylized all caps with an exclamation point.
I'm loving this one, but I'm also like, it depends. It depends.
It
I'm ready
depends
to
on what
move
this
on.
is about. If it's still about Kanye, I cannot.
Yeah, I'm ready. It's funny because making fun of the Kardashians has become punching down. Like,
Yeah.
they're irrelevant now. Girlfriend, move on.
Yeah, so I'm not going to
tired of
get mad
this.
about this until we hear it. it could be some tongue-in-cheek thing about fame and how easy it is to get canceled, or how she gets canceled every other week by certain corners of the internet or whatever. Could be about her fucking private jet.
Yeah. Which I do love all the videos being like, guys, actually hers is the most eco-friendly one. Drake is the one with the 787. And I'm like, you're making fair points.
Right. If we're going to, like, none of it's good, but if we're going to focus on somebody, let's focus on the Kardashians.
Courtney and Travis actually fly, not private, public.
Yeah.
Commercial. Thank you.
Well, and they don't fly as much, too, because of Travis's
right,
plane
exactly.
stuff.
But which I find fascinating that when they do fly, they do commercial, because, like, although I guess when he did have his plane crash, he was on a private plane.
Yeah, so maybe he feels better being, like, around other people. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
11 is Honey, which can't be anything but something romantic and sexy. I'm feeling like false god energy with Honey.
Yep,
right?
Same.
And then perhaps the song I'm
Showgirl.
the most excited for is a collab with Sabrina.
Yeah.
And if the leak for the lyrics is correct, it seems goofy and fun and perfect for the two of them.
Yeah, I did not read too far into the leak. I'm kind of a head in the sand Swiftie of, I don't have the mental capacity to be a theorizer.
Yeah,
really,
see, those were sent directly to me. I would have never sought them out, but if they're in my phone, I'm gonna have a hard time not looking at them.
Yeah, I was like bummed, I guess, that the photo leaks ended up being real.
Yeah,
because so I don't know. I'm not a blurb reader. Don't give me the leaks.
Right.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
No, spoiler-free zone.
Yeah.
But
so this song feels very, to me, like, I mean, yeah, what it says. Like,
very,
we're
I
living
can do it
this,
with a broken heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're living this dream life kind of thing, but maybe there's some other things going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were going to talk about a book this episode, but it turns out we had a lot to say about this music that we haven't even heard yet.
If we're going to talk about the book later, which we absolutely can do on a bonus episode or whatever, I'll just say I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
So,
well, the book that it was cute and different from what we normally read and what we normally talk about, which is why when I was reading it, I was like, maybe we can discuss this. But yeah, it was kind of mid. It was a little overly cutesy, a little overly saccharine for me.
There's no sex, and everyone in this book was kind of awful.
Yeah.
So
I really liked the setting, which is part of the thing that did it for me. But anyway, I must go.
Yes. Sorry, we all falsely promised you a book. Well, you got Taylor Swift.
Maybe we'll discuss the book. Maybe we won't. Either way, we'll see y'all in a little while.
Yep.